So you sure you want to redo our bedroom?
Yes. I hate that headboard.
Okay.
I keep hitting my head on it.
That was actually easier than I thought it would be. Maybe.
I think was it just glued on?
It was screwed in, but
Oh.
not well. It's not real wood. It's like foam.
Oh, well, there we go. And then what are we going to put back there?
I guess wallpaper. I don't know.
Should we have had a plan before we did this?
I don't know. Next, you're probably going to tell me you don't like the lights either.
That is correct. And so we need to get rid of those. But hey, we don't have a plan. We just do it, right?
Just do it.
That's how we roll.
So we're going to start redoing. Is that the term?
Yeah.
So we're going to start redoing our master bedroom. I've already taken the TV down, so I'll show you that later. But there's just 4 bolts that hold it onto a bracket. So we took that down, and it was a 27-inch TV in a 32-inch body, if that makes sense. So, but first I have to get this valance down, and it's pretty challenging to do that. So I have this extension, this flexible extension, which has actually been awesome to have for all the little projects, because screws in RVs are really hard to get to. So you either need a really long drill bit or something like this so you can get up in there, because there are L brackets holding this on. I believe there's at least 2, maybe 3. We're going to take this down, and then we're going to do wallpaper and then get the TV back up. So let's get to it. So that was actually much easier than some of the other windows, just 2 screws holding it in on an L bracket. So we pop those off. Now we're gonna wallpaper. This is the wallpaper we're going with. It's pretty bold. So we'll see how this goes, because this, unlike the other one, the other wallpaper we have done, this has a very distinct pattern that we have to line up. So the shiplap kind of had that, but not as dramatic as this. So the kids are playing, but I'm going to start on this section because the TV will cover some of this. So my seam, I'd rather have, here where the TV is, and then I think with how this will be, with how I'll have to cut the second piece, be able to get some of this out of it too. Our first piece is up. So there was a seam here, so we had an air bubble that came up. That's why this tool that we got on Amazon, a little wallpaper kit, was so awesome, because it works out those air bubbles and gets everything nice and smooth. Another thing we really noticed about RVs is nothing is level. So we have no gap on the right hand side, and then by the time we get over here we have a big gap. So we'll put a piece of trim or something. I took a piece of trim up in this corner, and we used a white, just round over piece out there. We really liked it, so we'll probably do that here, and then just get a little thin white piece of trim to put on along the edge here. So let's get the next piece on. We got the TV mounted. We got our Sonos soundbar plugged in, and we're getting it set up so it looks a lot better. We'll actually be able to hear the TV. And this is a smart TV. We went with a 32-inch smart TV. So we did go ahead and get a Levolor. How do you say this?
Levolor?
Levolor?
Levolor.
Levolor?
Levolor? Let's go with that.
We're going with Levolor Cellular Shade. This is a room darkening, and what's nice about these is you can have them custom cut. So the IKEA roller shade we had was 30 inches, and it was just barely too narrow. Just not wide enough. We needed like 1 more inch. So I measured and decided to go with 33.5 inches. So this was a 36-inch shade, and then we had them trim it to 33.5 inches. So then we get a little bit of overlap on each side, so that should help any light that would bleed through and make it nice and dark in here when we sleep. So one of the tips I have when you're hanging something is to reuse the screws that were here before for your valance. So that way you know your screws aren't too long, because if they're too long, you'll go through your wall and outside, and that is bad. So reuse the screws that came with it. So let's get this hung up, and then we'll be done with this side except for a few pieces of wallpaper along the edges here. Okay, so now it's installed, and what we like about this is when it's up, they don't really bang around. So like if we have this up while we're driving, you know, it stays pretty secure. We talked about putting some magnets on the back and then on the bottom, so that way when we have it closed and we're driving, it doesn't, you know, shimmy around. So one thing we do have to be mindful of is when we're driving, or when I have my office here, you know, this is cellular, so it's like paper. So we want to just make sure we don't put anything in here, we don't want to creak it. It does have a 5-year warranty. I don't know exactly what it covers, but raises up and down really nice, and it's light blocking. And we do have a little bit of room on each side, so hopefully that prevents the light from bleeding out too much. So tell us what you think about this renovation. Do you like this wallpaper? Is it too busy? We really like it. We like the pattern, we like the color, we like the blue, and then we love these shades. This is now the 4th one, or actually the 5th one. We've got one in our bathroom, 3 out in the living area, and now this one, and then we're gonna put 1 more over here on my window. So let us know what you think of this. Have you done any renovations? Are you scared to do renovations? You know, this wallpaper is pretty forgiving and pretty easy. So we really liked how it goes up. As you saw in the video, it comes off. Like if you don't get it right the first time, you can take it kind of off and put it back on. One of the ones we bought on Amazon, we could not take it off. If you tried to peel it off, it stretched and just did not look right. So really like how the Scott's brands has how forgiving it is. So we'll see you real soon.